Namaskaram. Pauses are a very important component of music, equal to that of a note. In fact, the pauses between notes is where the art in music lies. Hence, a student of music should be very aware, should observe and understand and elevate their knowledge about pauses, because at the very advanced level, it is the way you handle your pauses that shows your maturity as a musician. Now, in this video, I am going to show with a few examples how pauses impact your music and how you are going to gather that knowledge of being able to handle the pauses from the beginner's level to the very advanced levels. Now, pauses have a three-pronged effect. The first thing is they keep a check on the talam. They make your talam really perfect. In fact, I always say pauses can make or break your talam. If you are not controlling the pauses that are coming between notes correctly, then your talam is as good as gone. So, understanding pauses at the very formative stage of your musical journey, and not only understanding and also executing the way you handle your pauses is where your talam, the perfectness of your talam is going to lie. And the second thing, pauses make a ragam flow. When you need to express the characteristic of a ragam, the mood of a ragam, then you look at pauses between notes to give you that effect that the ragam needs to convey. The third but not the least is the highly meditative, blissful effect of a Sahitya or of a Manodharma, Alapana, that comes out is mainly through how you handle the silences between the notes. Here, when I mean silence, when I'm talking of silence, it's about the pauses. It really elevates the musician as well as the Rasika's mood. Now, don't you see that pauses are impacting every pillar of Carnatic music? Raga, Bhava and Laya. All three get impacted by the pauses. So you see the importance of pauses. Pauses are as equal in their importance as a note is. Now let's take the example for the beginner of a Kanda Jati Atatalam. I have noticed that students really black out in fear when they see a Kanda Jati Atatalam lesson, because that's the first time they are coming across so many pauses that have to be handled in 3 speeds. Now, the very simple way you can get a hang of the pauses is to spell it out. Sa, ri, I, ga, a, sa, a, ri, ga, a, ma, a, ma, a. If you are able to sing it, you can sing it, or just spell it out like this. Put the talam and spell it out. Write it out. Underline these pauses and see that you are holding on to those pauses when you are playing your lessons. So you are going to say Sa, Re, I, Ga, A, Sa, A, Re, Ga, A, Ma, A, Ma, A. Either you loudly spell this out, or in your head you register these pauses. Sa, Re, I, Ga, A. Every pause is registered in your mind, or through the tapping of your leg, or in your playing when you spell it out loudly. So this will see to it that every pause there is controlled. Now at the beginner's level, how do you get pause for a nice flow? The raga flow. So let us take the example of the very first Geetam, where you have a Amba Suta Amara Vinuta. Now how do you do that? That silence is depicted by not striking, strike less. And that pause is carried out so beautifully. Now here by pause I meant the pause of the Sahitya. The Sahityam is having a silence there. You might be having a note in your Gita, Brima, Pada. There is a note. There is no pause there. But the Sahityam is asking for a pause. That is where the raga flows. So you play it like that with less strikes. So the silence you leave here, the pause that I mean in this place, is of the pause of the Sahityam. The Sahityam is demanding a pause here. Now when you go to the slightly intermediate level of a Varnam, so I'm going to take the example of the Abhogi Charanam. Now here again I'm talking of the pauses that the Sahityam is leaving. Matruba Adi See, so much of that akaram in the Sangati that is required to be played with few strikes. Here it carries the ragam with it. It carries the gamakam. It carries the devotional nature of the charanam itself. So a lot of things happen with the pauses. So you have to remember that pauses generally doesn't mean just a pause or a note. It also means pauses in the Sahityam. Now the same thing now if you go to the first charanam. Ma da ma da sa da ma da di sa re ga. This is exactly the pause between notes. In the charanam it was pause in the Sahityam. Here it is a pause between notes. So then how do you go about it? Ma, 6 matras. Underline it. On top of it write 6. As you are learning the Varnam, this is all the exercises that the student needs to do, is to be very watchful. And then it's not enough just to write 6 mantras. That is an easier part. The difficult part is to hold it here on the Veena. How do you do it? As an akaram, it is 2 plus 2 plus 2. 6 is equal to 2 plus 2 plus 2. So in your head you go ma, a. Or tap on your leg. Ma, a. So if it is a akaram, it is 6. Ma. We don't want that. We'll take the akaram and say ma, da, ma, 2 to each. A, da, 4 notes. That's it, the 4 matra dha. A, sa, da, ma. Once again 4. Ga, ni, sa, ni, ga. All of them were 2, 2, which means a. So keeping it either in your head or vocally singing it out or tapping on your legs will be a practical way of controlling the pauses. But before even coming to that, you have to do a lot of pre-preparation by underlining, by getting an understanding of, oh, this is where I am getting the 6 matras. After this I get 2 matras. Then it's followed by 4 matras and so on. That is for the pauses between notes, and for the pauses between Sahityams, it's the free flow of less strikes of the Veena. And of course using a lot of different techniques. Now when you come to the Kirtane, say if you take a song like Kamakshi in Simendra Madhyamam, Muduswami Dikshitar's very, very famous Kirtana. Kamakshi Kamakodi What kind of a flow effect you can give with these pauses that the Sahityam can be, the Sahityam is being stretched. The Sangatis are being made to run across the octave with so many pauses. The less few strikes of the instrument and the effect go. of course, alapana is all about how you raise the bar of the silence between your strikes, silence between the notes, the sound. Notes means sound. And the Chauka Kala Kirtana is me na shi me mudam de me. All of this will impact the maturity of a student. The way you handle your pause shows the maturity in you as a musician. To understand how you bring out the artistic makeup of music, the emotional makeup of ragas, the tightness and the beauty of the rhythm. That is the maturity I'm talking about, which pauses bring about so well if you understand it from the very basic conceptual beginner's level to your advanced. Then you become a successful musician.